So are you going to watch this video now, or are you going to watch it later? No, wait, come back. No, watch it now. Here are 19 reasons to read later. Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. I'm Dave Musson, at Dave Musson on Instagram, and this is where I'm taking you through the works of Stephen King in chronological order and giving you 19 reasons to read every single one. And I also throw out a few specials every now and then. Go and check out whichever one I decide to put up there when I'm doing the edits and uploading this to YouTube. I'm too tired, I can't think of which one I actually want to put up there, but there will be one there, and there's loads more to check out. If all that sounds good, consider subscribing. And while we're talking subscribing, you can subscribe to my newsletter where I'll give you free short stories from me, shout outs for amazing indie horror authors for you to go and check out, and some other stuff in there. And as a thank you for signing up, I'll give you my mini collection of Mirrored plus 10 Tiny Tales of Terror as an ebook for free just for signing up. There's the link. There's a link down there as well. Join the gang and come and see if you like it. Don't need that anymore. This time around, we've reached 2021 and a book that I've already reviewed on this channel. Yeah, we've reached Later. I'm going to give you 19 reasons to read Later, and I'll cluster any spoilers towards the end and give you warning before they arrive so you can dip out if you need to. And of course, my review of Later was largely spoiler free, so you can check that one out as well if you like. Anyway, no more waiting. Here are 19 reasons to read Later. First reason, the cover art. I mean, look at it. So this book is King going back to hard case crime, and just like with The Colorado Kid and then later Joyland, this is a pulpy page turner underpinned by a great story that will have you hooked throughout. In fact, when I first got Later, I genuinely read it in one sitting. Don't be surprised if you struggle to put this one down. Did I mention the alternative cover art? Also excellent. So the hook of this one, well, our narrator is Jaime, and he can see dead people. He can talk to dead people as well, and it turns out that when those dead people talk to him, they have to tell him the truth, which turns out to be pretty useful for Jaime, particularly when his mum, who is a literary agent, well, her biggest selling author, dies on her before he finishes his final book. Jaime is able to get the plot of the book from the author, and his mum, who knows his writing style so well, is able to polish off that book and save her bank account, basically. It's also very useful when Jaime's mum's girlfriend, who is a cop, needs to track down the location of one hidden bomb from a local terrorist called Thumper, who then kills himself before revealing where the bomb is. Yep, it's a very handy talent indeed. Of course, it's very handy until Thumper gets so pissed off and angry that he has to tell Jaime the truth, that he then decides to haunt the poor kid. Slightly less convenient. Now, admittedly, that plot sounds silly, and it kind of is silly, but in King's hands, it just works. And King is really good at telling the story, letting you see what Jaime sees, but also painting the picture very clearly of everything that's going on around all this story. Jaime's life is chopping and changing. We see him go from a young child through to a teenager. And King is so good at the day-to-day, the everyday, that in his hands, you can just go with it. There are some good side characters in Later, and one of my favourites is Professor Martin Burkett, who provides that reliable go-to older friend for Jaime who is wise, teaches him some interesting things, and just creates a nice side relationship. King's always been good at building those kind of relationships, and he nails it again here. Now, admittedly, the final quarter does go off in a somewhat different direction as we bring in more crime and gangsters and paedophile rings and all of those kind of things. But again, King just makes that transition pretty seamless, and you can just ride with it. So some other background elements to this that help make Jaime feel more fleshed out than perhaps he initially appears is the lack of a father for Jaime, but also an absent uncle who is suffering from early onset Alzheimer's, which is a fear of King's, and is in a care facility. And it's one of the challenges as to why Jaime and his mum need to make sure that that final book from her top client gets out there because Jaime's mum needs to pay for her brother's care. And that character does have an interesting influence on the very end of the story, but I'll save that for the spoilers section. So as with the other Hard Case Crime King books, while this one was a paperback first, it did pretty quickly get a hardback release. Titan Books made 2,900 numbered, lettered copies, and yeah, they're expensive. I do not have one of those. Okay, time to enter spoiler territory. If you've not read this one yet and you need to leave here, then please do, and I will see you later. Otherwise, stick around because I've still got some more reasons for you to read later. Okay, so you remember how I said that I read this in one sitting first time around. Now, there was basically one key line that hooked me, and I was getting to the point where I was thinking, maybe I should put the book down for the night here and pick it up tomorrow, confident that I would finish it in another sitting. And then, well, Professor Burkett, he's talking to Jaime about how he might get rid of Thumper's ghost, and he decides to tell him about this thing. The Ritual of Chud. Yep, The Ritual of Chud. And then we get talk of Deadlights, and by the time I realised that actually this wasn't a sequel to it, I was so close to the end that I thought, fuck it, I may as well just finish it by now. But that makes it sound like a cheap tactic to keep you hooked. I guess it maybe is a little bit, but it also works in this story. Trust me, it really does. So talking of the end, brace yourself. At the very end of the story, we learn that Jaime's uncle has died, and he goes to the care home to be with his mum. And of course, Jaime's uncle's ghost is there. And, well, you remember, these dead people have to tell Jaime the truth. So Jaime asks his uncle who his dad was, because he's never known. And we learn that Jaime's dad was his uncle. Yep, we get a random bit of incest at the end of an otherwise excellent supernatural crime thriller crossover piece. It felt weird first time, it felt weird second time, and honestly, like, what the fuck? I mean, they're probably not going to put that in the TV adaptation, are they? So King offers his usual throwback to some 70s stuff with this, not with gore or monsters. No, it's when Jaime describes one woman as having particularly large bosoms. I mean, bosoms, bring back sweater nubbins if you have to. So the bulk of this tale is set in the noughts and the tens, which means that the pop culture references du jour, which are picked out in this, are franchises like Saw and Final Destination. And actually reading this story made me go and rewatch all of the Final Destination films just because it got mentioned and I remembered that they were a lot of fun, and they still are a lot of fun. Lastly, I really enjoyed this. King even quotes himself in this book, because at one point Jaime talks about how books are a uniquely portable magic, which is a quote so powerful that it is painted on the wall of the children's section in my local bookshop, the excellent Kenilworth Books. Gotta start 'em young. So there we go, 19 Reasons to Read Later, which, as I mentioned earlier, is one I've already given a full review of. The link for it is in the description. Go and check it out if you like. And click around the rest of my channel, see what you might find. Check out the specials as well. I'll pop another random one up there. Again, can't bother to think of one right now. And maybe when you subscribe to the channel, subscribe to my newsletter as well, because you get this book in ebook form for free. This is Mirrored, my short story, and 10 tiny tales of terror, 10 little stories to go with it. And in each issue of the newsletter, you'll get some updates on what I'm doing, you'll get some new indie authors for you to go and check out, and some more short stories from me, all for free. And you get this one for free just for signing up. Links down below. Not only that, you can come and say hi on Instagram where I'm at Dave Musson. Come and chat King, come and tell me what you think of my stuff, or, well, I don't know what else. Next up, another story from 2021 about a hitman with a heart that my friend Emily really does not like. I will see you then.